Hello everyone, this is Logan Grab and I will be presenting my school district redesign presentation today. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is my school district. So we are looking at the McDonald County R1 school district. The central office is located in Anderson, Missouri. And that's actually where our high school is also located. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And we do have some other schools that are located in Anderson, but we do have several towns within McDonald County that have some of our schools in them. Some of our pre-K schools, primary schools, elementaries, and junior highs. And we'll go through a more detailed breakdown of that in just a little bit. But some of the towns that we're looking at in our community are Anderson, Pineville, and the name of the town is actually Jane. A lot of people refer to it as White Rock, and the school is called White Rock. But the name of the town is Jane. Very, very small town. A lot of these towns aren't very big, actually. And Anderson's probably the biggest with about 1,500 people. Then we have Rocky Comfort, then Knoll, and then Southwest City. The interesting thing that you have going on here is there is a lot of driving time spent in our district from one end of it to the other. If you were to drive from Rocky Comfort to Southwest City, which is close to the Arkansas and Oklahoma line, it'd take you about 45 or 15 minutes. So our buses definitely get a lot of miles on them. When we're looking at the McDonald County R1 School District mission, our mission statement is every child, every day, whatever it takes. And we really do have a lot of people in our district that I know personally who live and breathe this every single day. I am one of them. And whenever we're looking at this project, I'm assuming the role of superintendent. So I think that's very important. And I think that we do have a superintendent now who has that, but I definitely believe everything that statement holds as well. We have a strong tradition of academic excellence in McDonald County. And then we also provide, a comprehensive academic program accompanied by competent and concerned professional educators in every single one of our schools. Now, the district governance, we look at the MCR1 Board of Education. There are 7 board members. We have a president and then a vice president, and then the other members have various roles on different committees within the board. And then, of course, we've had a lot of conversation about the PLC and HRS models, and they are prepared to pursue both those models. Now, when we look at the demographics, and we'll get into some more detailed demographics in a little bit, we have about 3,700 students in the district, and approximately 70.4 of them qualify for free and reduced lunch. So we definitely do have a high level of poverty in our community. When we're looking at total certified staff, we have about 285 teachers. The district ratio for student teachers is 13 to 1. And then we have 13 building administrators and 3 district administrators. Now, this gives you a little bit of a more detailed breakdown of what we're seeing at the district level, the total enrollment of each school, and the student to teacher ratio. I'm not going to talk about this a whole lot. You guys can look and see what our total enrollment is at each school and look at those ratios. And they're pretty comparable with the ratios, but as you can see, the total enrollment for each school definitely does vary. Now, when we're looking at the central office leadership and responsibilities, as superintendent, an ethical and servant leader is what I would consider myself and what I'd like to see in other people. The superintendent is the lead district administrator, management of the school district, and then consistently works with the school board. And you see a couple of different quotes here from Northhouse and Thomas, really just reiterating the importance of ethical leaders and how an organization should approach, or rather the leaders in an organization should approach things should they want to be successful. Then moving on to the assistant superintendents, we have an assistant superintendent of curriculum who we consider to be an authentic leader, and they are the district-wide leadership and guidance for curriculum. And then we have our assistant superintendent of programs and operations. They too are very much an authentic leader, and they develop and maintain the district programs and ensure that all grounds and facilities are also adequately addressed. Now, when it comes to the building level leadership and responsibilities, there's, that connection between central office and them. They collaborate with our central office administration, take direction from them. We really seek out adaptable and transformational leaders for these positions to be in our schools and work with our students and teachers. And the building leaders are charged with being responsible for clearly communicating the district's vision to their faculty and their staff. Now, we are taking a look at the high reliability schools model. We've looked at this a lot throughout the course. Levels 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are going to be addressed separately, but this is something that we're familiar with and that the district is pursuing primarily through the professional learning community model, because that is so pivotal to the HRS model. Now, I'll give you a little bit of information about PLCs. So they're foundational, they focus on learning. There's this fostering of collaboration between educators. Student learning is positively impacted by professional learning communities on a regular basis, and that is what I find so intriguing about them. And they're research-based and proven. The first quote I have here from Green, it talks about a treatment group where you had a PLC protocol implemented with the group and then a control group. And the results that were reported showed improvements in both the professional development standards and the professional learning community process within the treatment group. So when you're looking at teachers and that collaboration, there's just so much development and growth that goes on there. And then I didn't really know this until I delved into this more. PLCs came about in the early 90s, so they've definitely been around for quite some time. Now, when we're looking at the leading indicators, we have leading indicator 1.3, and that addresses the formal roles in the decision-making process that teachers have through the PLC process and collaborating. Leading indicator 1.4, that also brings about that collaborative aspect. 1.3 is definitely more about making the teachers part of the decision-making process, which is important to have them as part of that. They need to be a part of it to feel like, if you want buy-in and commitment from your teachers, you definitely need them to have a piece of that. Going back to 1.4, the collaborative groups, regularly interacting to address common issues regarding curriculum and assessment and instruction, which does lead to the achievement of all students, is imperative. And then we've got leading indicator 1.6. Students, parents, and the community have to have a way to give input, and this is where we address that. And the PLC model promotes that. In a lot of ways, you are getting feedback from teachers, you're getting feedback from the community, and whenever you are able to collaborate on that level, you're going to have a very high functioning school. Just some different quotes that were integrated into my paper that I thought were really worthwhile mentioning. From Chastain, we have creating and sustaining professional learning communities within schools requires administrators to make difficult decisions. And I think that's important to talk about because this is not necessarily all rainbows and butterflies. There's some pretty serious things that have to be addressed at this foundational level. But if administrators are willing to do that, it'll definitely pay off. Looking to Matthew's quote, we have the positive teacher-student relationship provided a comfortable and safe and learning environment for students in the classroom. Whenever we're looking at creating a safe environment, we want to make sure that students feel that way. And whenever teachers are able to get professional development and collaborate and learn how to do that in the best way possible, these things happen. And then moving on to the last quote from Phillips: parents, community, and schools should work together collaboratively to engender and cultivate a relationship in which all stakeholders are committed and vested to the business of teaching and learning. So it's important to have teachers on board with this for very obvious reasons, and students. But whenever we can make that partnership with parents, like I mentioned before, just incredible transformational things happen. Now we're going to move on to some leading indicators for level 2, and this is where we really talk about the professional learning communities helping to ensure that there is effective teaching in every classroom. Now, when we're looking at leading indicator 2.1, this is where the school communicates a clear vision as to how teachers should address instruction. And so really, the formation of a professional learning community allows districts and building leaders to clearly communicate the vision for districts and how they want teachers to address student instruction. And really, leading indicator 1.3 from level 1 will kind of help cultivate that and establish the common language or instructional practices that people want to happen. And then looking at leading indicator 2.2, the school supports teachers to continually enhance their pedagogical skills through reflection and professional growth plans. And, as an educator, enhancing one's pedagogical skills and growing as a professional is very important. And people can always make improvements, and being able to reflect through the PLC process it creates a space for teachers to reflect on those and create some professional growth plans and take advantage of helping to achieve level 2 of the HRS model. Have a quote from Schlichter down below. We have professional development exists in a symbiotic or circular relationship with professional learning communities. And I think that that's important to indicate, because this means that a professional learning community is the perfect environment for meaningful professional development to take place. Now, as we move to leading indicators for level 3, we've got leading indicator 3.2, which is the school curriculum is focused enough that it can be adequately addressed in the time available to teachers. So as an educator who has experienced a significant lack of time to collaborate with others, this stands out to me as an administrator. Teachers have to be able to collaborate, and they have to be able to plan effective instruction. And if that's not provided and not built into a school, then they are likely not going to be covering everything maybe that they should be. Professional learning communities really alleviate this issue by providing teachers with that sacred time in which to hone in on the most important aspects of a school's curriculum. And then leading indicator 3.5, and that's the school analyzing, interpreting, and using data to regularly monitor progress towards school achievement. So 3.5 is very important because it relates to student learning, and it's kind of built upon leading indicator 3.2 that we previously talked about. And the PLC process will ensure that leading indicator 3.2 is addressed, which then allows school leaders to focus on that student achievement and data in 3.5. So there's definitely a connection between those two, and I really don't know that you can have one without the other. And moving on to leading indicator for level 4, standards reference reporting. We have the school analyzes, interprets, and uses data to regularly monitor progress towards student achievement for individual students. And that's really, the individual students is the big piece of this particular level that we're talking about. So by teachers and administrators monitoring individual students' progress, they're able to make sure students are meeting their goals. And really the classroom assessment results are a key piece of this process and can be tied back to HRS levels 1, 2, and 3. And this is important to signify because the PLC model is the foundation upon which high reliability schools are built. So without a professional learning community, really none of this is even possible. And finally, we are to leading indicator 5.1 for level 5, which is a competency-based education. So we have in 5.1, students move on to the next level of the curriculum for any subject area only after they have demonstrated competence at the previous level. So we have the achievement of HRS level 5, seeming like a pretty lofty goal for most districts, and is even, a little intimidating to me. There's a lot of pieces to it, but really, I truly believe that if there's true intentionality behind it, it can be done. So 5.1 really requires teachers to adapt their traditional practices to meet the needs of the students that they're serving. And so since students will be able to move on to the next level of curriculum after demonstrating competence, facilitated learning is more of a focus than, our traditional whole group instruction. And, we look at, teachers have a lot of different ways they can do this. Some of the things that are suggested are videos and archiving them, because you don't know from, maybe 1 month to the next where a student might be, and you have to be prepared for that one way or the other. So there is a direct connection between teacher collaboration, curriculum, and instructional planning time that is taking place throughout the PLC process, which then has an impact on level 5. And again, it just simply would not be possible for a school district to reach this height of achievement, fully realize level 5 of the HRS model without a PLC in place. Whenever we're looking at the district level continuous improvement and accountability, every single HRS level ensures that accountability is upheld, and we've talked about that a lot. There's a lot of checkpoints, if you will, to ensure accuracy and to promote improvement, and making sure that you're hitting all of those leading indicators. We highlighted some of them today with what are standing out in regard to the PLC process being implemented in the McDonald County School District, but going through all of those will be important. And then collaborative time through the PLC will uphold the HRS model. The PLC is the foundational bricks upon which all of it is built. And so building a strong PLC then means that you can begin working toward having a strong, high reliability school district. In conclusion, taking all things into consideration, the future of the McDonald County R1 School District is bright. We're forging a path toward HRS status through the PLC model, and it's really exciting to think about, because right now we don't actually have a professional learning community instated in the district, and we're already at level 3, and if we're able to do that without having it fully structured, there's no telling what we'll be able to accomplish in the future. So thank you for listening to my presentation. It's hard to believe that we're already to the end of this course, but I very much enjoyed it. Looking forward to seeing everybody else's presentations. And so here are my references. Pass through these so you can see them. I hope you found this useful. And I'm getting ready to start spring break. So if you are, I hope you have a good spring break. And maybe we'll see you in the next class. Have a good evening. Bye.